Just got your boat license? Bit of a novice, still trying to work out what you're going to do on the water and how you're going to enjoy it? Well, if that's you, turn off now. I'm not talking to you. Today I'm on the XO Defender 8, an absolute weapon of a thing. My name's Dan Jones, this is Dan's Boat Life. If you're serious about your boating and you want to take it to the next level, this is worth your watch. So it's not hard to get excited about boat tests. I mean, let's face it, this is a pretty cool job I got here, but sometimes you get extra excited. Sometimes you get a product which is absolutely outrageous and just looks like a hell of a lot of fun. I mean, just look behind me. I've got spotlights on this thing. It's just super awesome. So before I get into the walkthrough, a little bit of background about XO. These guys, they are from Finland. There's quite a lot of really unique, super capable boats coming out of Finland, and the XO brand actually has inspired some other very popular brands, which I'm sure you've heard of. But these guys have done things a little bit differently from the beginning. They've always built a boat out of military grade aluminium. These boats really are about capability and just going to the next step, going to the next stage in your boating life. When you have really nailed down your needs, you got a specific need, you want something super capable that's not going to let you down, that's when you look at an XO. It's rarely your first boat. It's definitely something, someone who's got a complete understanding of how they're going to enjoy their time on the water. What they do, just quickly talking about the construction of these boats, they build a very, very solid deep V cutting bow aluminium hull. And now that will ordinarily equate to a bit of a noisy hull, because aluminium boats, I'm sure you've been in tinnies before, or you know, your regular fishing boats that you see around at the boat shore or on the harbour. Yeah, they bash around a little bit and you hear the noise, you hear the water passing underneath the hull. You don't get that experience on an XO because it's thick aluminium, it's completely foam lined, and then the decks or the top sides are all fiberglass. So it's got the feeling of a luxury cruiser, but it has the sound deadening effect as well. And that's important if you really want to step things up and start to get, you know, minute in terms of the detail. But anyway, let's have a little bit of a walk around. We'll start at the bow. I'll just adjust my little thingamy-bob so you can see. Super spacious bow area. Now this one's got this soft flexi-teak decking, as you can see, but up the bow it's absolutely the kind of setup that you could drop off and pick people up at wharfs. In fact, we did that this morning with our cameraman. I've got nice black, you can see lots of black coating around the place in terms of these rails and the cleats. So they look beautiful. I've just hand anchored today. There is no anchor well or locker on this boat. You don't need it. We've got a small anchor, a few meters of chain, and I'll pull it up by hand. It's just not necessary for a boat of this size. But you come back, we've got these stainless steel finish on the navigation lights. Moving back, you can put cushions and turn this area into a lounge spot. One thing that is worth noting are these tie down points here, here, and here. So you can load this up with gear. I'm imagining people taking a boat like this to the Northern Territory because it's the kind of boat that you would do that on. We've got the grab rails, solid size, very, very well fixed down just there. And then on gas struts, this is all storage. So we've got our batteries forward of that. This can actually remove. So if you want to put larger items in here, you don't have to have that partition just there. And you can see I've got some of my gear. I've got the side covers. There's the anchor rope, and a few other bits and pieces stored in there. And now just coming around, I'm going to do my best to show you as much of this as possible because it's really special. The Defender, hint is in the name, it's got a bit of Land Rover Defender vibes. Now this cockpit area is solid tubing all the way around, so plenty of handholds, looks super cool. Like everywhere I've been in this boat, people just stop, look and ask questions, but it's got a practical vibe to it as well. So I'm imagining gun racks, I'm imagining spear guns, I'm imagining surfboards, foiling boards, you name it. Like you could do all sorts of things using this as a mounting point, go remote and just get adventurous. Like that's what this thing's all about. As we look on the starboard side just here, these fixing points are actually for a floor heater. Now we don't have it because this is in Australia, but it is an option. And look, if you were zipping along at high speed, which this thing certainly is capable of doing, you could option that and then just blow some hot air on your feet. So that is there. We've got this nice carbon finish on the front. That's your horn. We've got the windscreen wiper. These awesome headlamps. That's just super cool looking. And this is toughened glass just here. And then I'll start around the top, walk around the decks before I go into the cockpit. We've got this very, very large opening hatch. So this cockpit can be fully enclosed with clears. So if you want, you can then pop the roof for ventilation, but you can also stand and put your head out the roof when you're driving. Working our way across the top here, we've got the Simrad radar. That's the bee's knees job just there, blacked out aerial. I love how the owner has blacked out all this. He's just done the little bit extras to make everything match, which is so good, so cool. We've got the aft facing lights just here, and moving around onto the rear deck, plenty of space, and the floor level, you got two floor levels. So you got the bow, then you level all the way through the middle of the boat, then you got this one step up. So it is a self-draining deck. We've got scuppers which just go out the back just there, and then we've got this great powder coated aluminium which is going around both transoms just there, just giving it a solid feel, but obviously there's a practical nature to that as well. Just while I'm here, look at the size of this engine mounting plate. That's just chunky as all hell. This is a 300 horsepower Mercury V8 on the back, and she hauls. But whilst I'm back here, we can see aft cleats as well. This is just going to be a plug-in for, that one's going to be for a flag just there. And then this is another storage bin just here. And that also gives you access down into the aft bilge section of the boat. But it's just another storage locker. We can see our emergency manual bilge pump and a fire extinguisher, and it also has electric fitted as well. So that's a good area for some of your boat systems, because you don't need to put ropes and fenders down in the lockers, because it has its own lovely stack of rope and fender arrangement holders just there. You know, I can even see people putting extra fuel tanks back here, and I believe it is an option to mount them on the front as well. So, you know, once again, it's just adding to the capability of a thing like this. It's got a decent stereo. We've got 6 speakers so that I can see, I'm pretty sure it's 6, dotted around the boat. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, make that 4. But here we go. Like, let's move into the middle of the boat. This is just something else. The cockpit is full race car mode. These seats are wrapped in fiberglass, so they're a solid structure with Silvertex padded seat inside. They go forward and back, and they're on proper suspension setup. So you've got the softness that the hull design provides, and then you have the extra suspension through the seat, and you can sit, stand, and then there's even a standing well, which I'll get to in a second. But there's a lot to talk about here, so we'll try and cover it all. Both seats have flip-up bolsters, so that's up and that's down. And then you have all these grab rails all the way around, and they're just good looking, like lots of places to hold on and mount things, mount cameras, mount extra bits and pieces. So that's all there. The dash is very sensibly laid out. We have a knick-knack drawer just here, so that's good for phones and wallets and all that sort of stuff. And inside here is your phone charging, so nothing's going to get wet. That's all protected in there. This particular boat has been fitted out with lots of extras. So we've got a VHF just here. We have an autopilot, which sits in just there. It's got all the Simrab gear. It's got the bee's knees depth sounder. So we've got really high quality depth sounding, which works when you're at speed. I know a lot of boats of this style, once you go over about sort of 15 knots or so, the aeration under the hulls will stop the depth sounder working. But this one is got a bee's knees set up, so it does work. We've got the chart plotter. We've got all the engine diagnostics as well. The Fusion can be controlled from here, but then it also can be controlled from inside the chart plotter display as well. Then we have the trim tabs set up just here. That is got auto and manual functions, so you can just focus on the driving and it'll do that through an inbuilt gyro for you. Key start, but then you also have the button push start, and this is a really ergonomic, well set up, like sensibly laid out Helm for when you're driving. So the wheel adjusts up and down like that. This is your throttle base just here. You can rest your hand here. You've got a start, stop, and your other throttle functions here, but it is electronic. It's a fly-by-wire system. And then you've got your nav lights, your roof lights, your wiper, auxiliary, bilge pump, and horn just there. And underneath is your battery start. So you can do everything from the Helm. Now, before I take this thing for a test drive, you still need to see, but wait, there's more. So this, I'm going to stand down here. So I'm going to adjust this little thingamajig so you can see. This gives you the option to stand and drive. So you can stand and stick your head out, or you can stand in the well and really lock yourself in here. Gives you more protection from the wind if that's bothering you, and you really feel quite locked in. So as I was this morning, pounding through quite large surf, there's really pumping surf out to sea today, coming around the corner where it comes into the Sydney Harbour. I was in this locked in position, obviously on the port side at the helm, but felt a lot more secure. It was really nice, fun driving position. Now, if you're in your more moderate conditions, you might just transition to the seat like so, and then you can use that as a foot pad just there, or you can close the floor quite easily and just use it as a storage bin. So whilst there's enough space for all your guests' equipment up in the forward locker, you know, that is another option just there if you find you're going to operate it like so. And if you were standing up, hey presto, even short man like me can see out, so that's good. Comfortable. Now these seats, they slide very, very well. So look at that. I can go all the way back. So there you go. So that's my feet. I'm 5'7", I can't even touch the back now, or I can slide forward, all the way forward, and there's my feet on the footrest just there. So that's comfortable. So you can get yourself feeling nice and secure at the helm, or as a passenger, holding on, locking your feet in and just enjoying the seat suspension as you ride along. So now taking our, but just look at that. I just think those are the sexiest seats. That's just fantastic. Anyway, moving our way into the middle and then the back. This is access and inspection port just to your fuel tank and the middle part of the boat. So that's just giving you access. And then undoing these rubber holders on either side, there's your fridge. So this is an electric fridge. I've actually got my safety grab bag in there at the moment because I'm lazy, but that's an electric fridge. And it's nice and cool, and you've got a control on, off, and temperature up, down just there. And whilst we're here, let's just check out the seating position for the guests. This is cool. Like, you really feel like you're going to have a fun time. Look at the view. Like, look at that. That's just got fun written all over it. It's got serious fun, though. I really can see people going and doing crazy awesome adventures on a machine like this, you know, just with some foiling surfboards on a custom rack on the roof and just heading off to some remote reef break somewhere and just foiling all day and towing in off this if you needed to, and just getting super out there. Like, I'd love to see it. But obviously, if you are doing those sort of adventures, it's a 4-person boat, because really you're not going to have many more than that on this. It's not designed for getting huge groups. This is a specific task. It could be a fast commuter, a cool commuter, it could be a date night boat, but it's absolutely just lends itself to those specific, fun, unique activities that only you know you can do with a boat like this. In terms of what it's licensed for, well, in New South Wales, where we are here in Sydney, Australia, 7 people. So you can absolutely take more people out for the day. It's just the question is where you're going to put them if you're going at speed, because this thing will go at speed, and I'm about to show you that. So on that note, I love this. So I'm just going to, hopefully you're going to get this sound. Oh, how good's that? I love these new V8s. It's so throaty. So whilst we're back here, you can see very large, solid aluminium trim tabs. That's a Lenco system just there. And this will all lift up, give you more access, so we can see the hydraulics and the engine loom just there. And there is a swim ladder, which pops out on the starboard side. Okay, let's go for a drive. And get a little bit more. So my revs, 40 knots, 41 knots. Woo! Ah, woo! Hello! Yeah, this is good. Whew, that was a lot of fun.